Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at Cinderella and Bluebird from the Cinderella series. Cinderella and Bluebird is a pair of Tsum, so they're going to have two different abilities and two different skills that you can activate. But before I get into that, I do want to cover some of the stats because understanding the stats is going to lead you to be able to use Cinderella and Bluebird effectively. So in order for you to activate Cinderella and Bluebird's ability, you will need to clear a total of 15 copies of each of them in order for you to activate their ability. So for example, if you are trying to activate Bluebird's ability, you will need to clear 15 copies of them on the screen. Similarly to Cinderella, if you want to activate Cinderella's ability, you'll need to clear 15 copies of her off the screen to activate Cinderella's ability. Minimum score for them is 20 with a maximum score of 1,294. So terrible minimum score, but an amazing maximum score. 1,294 is considered pretty high, so Cinderella is going to be a really good Tsum for you to earn a high score. Cinderella and Bluebird is not only good for score, but they're pretty good for getting coins as well. And all the pair Tsums that I've played with thus far are good for both, so it's not a bad idea to try to get a copy of any of the pair Tsums for that matter. And every single time you level up Cinderella and Bluebird up one skill level, the skill range is going to increase. At skill level 1, the skill range is going to be extra small, but if you are able to level up Cinderella and Bluebird to skill level 6, the skill range is going to become extra large. And as you can see on the bottom right hand corner, how many skill tickets you need to use to level up Cinderella and Bluebird. And I do think that it's worth it. If you are trying to find a good Tsum that will get you a lot of coins and get you a lot of score, then Cinderella and Bluebird is a good option for you to invest in. Okay, now going back to the ability, like I mentioned earlier, Cinderella and Bluebird have two different abilities. And in order for you to check out what the ability is, or at least their official description, on the character selection screen or the Tsum selection screen, if you click on the exclamation mark, the yellow exclamation mark above the skill, you could actually pop up their official description. So when you press on that exclamation mark, a window will pop up showing you what their abilities are, and let's take a look at that. The official description for Cinderella and Bluebird. For Cinderella's skill, clear Tsums in the shape of an X. So that's pretty self-explanatory, and actually Bluebird's skill is very similar. Turn Tsums in the shape of an X into high-scoring Cinderella Tsum. So that's really important. What that's telling you is that if you activate Bluebird's ability, it will turn a bunch of Tsums on the screen into high-scoring Tsums if you are able to clear them. And then also if you look at the very bottom, it says using Cinderella's skill after Bluebird's is super effective, kind of like Pokemon, you know? And if you are able to clear a bunch of Cinderellas after you activate Bluebird's ability, then those Tsums will be super high scoring. So that's the strategy you want to use when you are using the pairing. Okay, let's talk strategy now. When you are using Cinderella and Bluebird, I recommend that you activate Bluebird's ability first. What happens after you activate Bluebird's ability is a bunch of Cinderella will pop up. And then what you want to do after that is look at your charge bar for Cinderella. And at this point, you may have Cinderella already relatively charged. So keep in mind that you need to charge 15 copies of Cinderella to activate her ability. So let's say that your charge bar is about 3/4 of the way. Then generally you'll know that you need roughly about 3 to 5 Cinderellas to fully charge her ability. So what you want to do is just clear just enough of Cinderella to charge her ability, so don't overcharge it. So you might want to only clear 3 to 5 Cinderellas off the screen to charge up that bar. And then right after that, you just want to spam the ability button or spam Cinderella's ability button to clear a bunch of Cinderellas off the screen. What happens after that is that you may get lucky and charge another Cinderella's ability. And in that case, if you are able to, then activate her ability again once the Tsums are settled. That will help you charge up Bluebird's ability after that. So ultimately what you want to do is just keep that cycle going where you activate Bluebird's ability, then you charge up just enough to activate Cinderella's ability, and then after that animation, if you're lucky, which is about 75% of the time, especially if you are playing at the higher skill level, then you activate Cinderella's ability again. And that second Cinderella ability should help you charge up Bluebird's ability as well. So you just want to keep that cycle going because the more abilities you activate per game, the more coins and also more points you're going to get each and every single time. What I also want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison of skill level 1, 2, and 3 and show you what the gameplay looks like. So take a look at skill level 1 here. I am focusing on activating Bluebird's ability first, or charging a Bluebird's ability, because that is really step 1 to the ability. And then what you want to do is activate Cinderella's ability and then activate her ability again, just like I explained earlier on the strategy that I use. So you want to just keep that going. For skill level 1, it is a little bit more difficult to charge up because the skill range is a little smaller compared to the other skill levels, but regardless, you should still be successful being able to just keep this cycle going. If you do have extra skill tickets, Cinderella and Bluebird is not a bad option for you to invest in because, like I mentioned earlier, they are good for coins as well as score, so they're going to be multifunctional. Now, some of the mistakes that I've made for these 3 skill levels, and you could spot them as I'm playing this game, is I didn't let the Tsum settle in certain times to really maximize the clear potential. And you might want to take that into consideration when you are playing, is if it's worth it to wait a couple of seconds for the entire screen to settle before you activate the ability, because if you wait a couple of seconds, you'll get a longer chain, or in Bluebird's case, you'll be able to change more Cinderellas on the screen. So keep that in mind when you are playing, and you will need to make those decisions. Sometimes it's worth it to just go ahead and activate it, but sometimes it's not. For example, if you have a gap at the very bottom center or the left center area, essentially any of the sides where it's a center, then you could just go ahead and activate it because regardless, the ability doesn't touch those areas, so it doesn't matter. Another thing that might be helpful is keep a magic bubble at the very bottom of the screen, because sometimes you may need to use that bubble to speed up the animation for certain cases, especially when you are not in fever. If you'll notice that when you are not in fever and you're playing the game and you're trying to clear a bunch of Tsums, that clear takes forever, or the animation takes forever to play through. However, if you have a magic bubble handy and you pop the magic bubble while it's trying to clear a bunch of Tsums, that will speed it up. So keep that in mind. Having a magic bubble on hand when you are not in fever could be helpful. Now, what I also want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison of skill level 1, 2, and 3, the ability activated. I am going to break it down to both Bluebirds and Cinderella, so let's take a look at Bluebird first. Bluebird's ability will change a bunch of Tsums on the screen into Cinderella. So let me slow it down so we could take a look at the animation. So Bluebird will put on a hood and then fly across the screen with a blue ribbon. So take a look at the screen here. It's a little bit difficult to see between skill level 1 and skill level 2. And honestly, there wasn't a huge difference. And in this specific demonstration, skill level 2 actually underperformed skill level 1. But skill level 3, as you could clearly tell there, it's a lot thicker. You see about 2 lines of Tsums there compared to skill level 1 and 2. So that's really the difference between skill level 1, 2, and 3 for Bluebird. Now let's move on to taking a look at Cinderella's ability. Her animation is pretty cool and she comes out in a dress and spins around. So we'll slow it down to take a look at it. So she comes out and this is like a very 3D animation. So that's pretty cool. So this is a clear area. So similar to Bluebird's, it's kind of hard to tell if skill level 1 and skill level 2 has any difference. But you could clearly tell for skill level 3, it gets a lot better, where the lines are a lot thicker. So skill level 1 and 2 aren't necessarily that major of a difference, but skill level 3 gets a lot better. So you may want to at least get Cinderella and Bluebird to skill level 3. I've noticed that it makes a really big difference from skill level 3 comparing to the difference between skill level 1 and skill level 2. So for skill level 1, I got a chain of 20. Skill level 2, I got a chain of 21. And skill level 3, I got a chain of 26. So kind of as expected, there wasn't a huge difference between skill level 1 and skill level 2, but a major difference for skill level 3. So definitely worth it to get your Cinderella and Bluebird to skill level 3. It's going to help you increase getting more coins and also a higher score. But let me skip to the very end of this video and show you what I earned for coins. So for skill level 1, I got 2,017 coins. For skill level 2, I got 2,136. And at skill level 3, I got 2,598. So all 3 of these are very good for coins, even at the lower skill level. At skill level 1, That's really good. There aren't necessarily that many good Tsums at skill level 1 that can earn you 2,000 coins, so it's a very good option for beginners, especially if you just joined the game about like 2-3 weeks ago. Then definitely worth getting a Cinderella and Bluebird. Now take a look at the score as well. Not too bad for a low level Tsum, and currently I'm playing these Tsums at a really low level. So if you do have Cinderella and Bluebird, you definitely will be able to get a lot more score points than I did here. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that you guys found this video helpful or at least informative about Cinderella and Bluebird. Let me know in the comments below if you are using a different strategy or if there's anything that you would do to improve the strategy. And if you guys found this video helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching.